Welcome everybody this morning. It's Friday the 11th, which is a day for so many reasons to remember. In fact, my daughter was just doing a report on Patriot Day today, and I was just posting some things on social media. That's what my multitasking role was this morning. But I wanted to thank Paul for taking the time out of his busy schedule today. We are doing For Your Fridays for the next few Fridays. So this is a way for our folks to get to know one another, have another outlet to just kind of connect, plus just gain some valuable information that could be helpful in their work life or their home life. And so we're going to keep doing these for the next few weeks. Today, Paul is our speaker. Like I said, he is from Growing Forward Services, and he is going to teach us best practices on how to maintain a healthy and productive work environment while teleworking. Paul has been involved with many levels of businesses in the community and outside of the community on large levels, small levels, and doing individual coaching on a variety of platforms. So he will definitely provide some good insight today for us to take home. And with that said, before we kick him off, and he has his bio up there about his background, I have a drawing for a Starbucks gift card, and my lovely assistant Delia is upstairs. So you're going to just have to trust me all that I am legit with my thing here. And Paul, I'm sorry, I just did this for the attendees today, but we're going to pull out here, and I have this Starbucks gift card with some fireworks on there. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. Anyways, so we're going to pull out a name here, and we'll see who is the lucky winner. And my name is not in there, and it's Anna Maria. Yay! So I will send you your Starbucks gift card for today for attending.
Wow, and awesome.
So there you go. So that workout will come in handy for your 5,000 calorie Starbucks drink, right?
Yeah, exactly. I need it.
And then just to let you know too, we have, like I said, we're doing this every Friday. So we have the next session, which is next Friday, and it's going to be a different time from 11:30 to 12:30. We had talked about we were going to do something about thriving financially during this kind of time, but we are still doing financial planning, but the topic's going to be using science to become a better investor, and it will be Alex Poloquin from 2.24 Group and Ryan Garcia from Alliance Berkstein. So with that said, I am going to turn this over to Paul. Paul, it's really your choice. We can solicit questions during your presentation, or we can wait to the end. I'll keep an eye on chat, whatever your preference is. The only thing I ask is that everybody does turn off their microphone except for Paul, so that we don't have any background noise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erin. And I'll use the chat as we go through here as well, because it is a webinar format, although I would love to be live with you all in person. And thank you for staying muted, and appreciate seeing the smiling faces, with the video on. So I'm going to try to keep you engaged by using the chat here and there in each section. So if we could get everybody's responses in each section, that would be great. I appreciate that. And of course, yeah, you can post questions or other ideas in the chat as we go along. And if we can't get to it today, we'll definitely get back to you. And this webinar is all about helping you succeed during these not so ideal circumstances. It's been a whole 6 months now. This webinar came out of a team leader who said, Paul, can you just give us some inspiration? Everybody's in the doldrums of teleworking, and can you just help us by giving us a motivation of taking care of ourselves and being productive when we don't have that typical accountability and interaction in the office? And I said, sure, let's do it. So we are in this weird time, and it has been stressful, but it's been a different kind of stress. Some introverts are like, this is awesome, I could do this forever. And some extroverts are like clawing their eyes out like, I want to be with people in the office. So let's go over the chat for the first time here. And if you would post your biggest stressor during teleworking, what's the thing that stresses you out the most, or the biggest hassle, or the biggest challenge during teleworking? And Erin, if you don't mind reading those out as they come in.
So I have from Jessica, it's actually ending the workday. Yes, that's a big one.
Mhm.
I wrote balancing work life with personal life with my daughter at home.
Yep.
Presley had not been in the office, communication is more difficult. And Katie has lack of communication between everyone.
Yes, those are very real ones and very common from the times I've done this seminar with other people, especially that ending the workday. It's like it just keeps going forever and there's no hard stop. There's no drive home. I realized just going between buildings or between clients, at least I had some mental defrag time in the car. And now it's just, yeah. I need to close.
I was Anna Maria chimed in and she said, I'm not sure because it hasn't been too bad. I suppose my desk setup is not ideal, but it is doable.
Nice, nice. There you go. So I've met people screaming kids. I've met cats walking across the screen with their tails, which has been sort of funny. And we're really just going to talk about that today. I'm going to split this into two sections. It'll be self-care tips because we're whole people and this affects us at our core. And then also work at home productivity tips because we got to get stuff done. So it's a both and kind of thing. I've seen people with their pace or their cadence. Some people need to step back because, like was said earlier, there maybe is no end to the day, and they need to put in more breaks and have a hard stop in their day. Other people need to step up because they lack motivation. It's just hard to drag themselves to yet another call, video call. But either way, we still need self-care tips. So that's what I'm going to spend the majority of our time today. So I would lead by saying, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's called self-compassion. And if you really want to go into this a little bit deeper, there is a website called selfcompassion.org, self-compassion.org as a resource. Dr. Kristen this is what she specializes in, is being kind to yourself. So during this strange season that we're in, that might be something that we have to do a better job, especially if you're an achiever and you're just like, rah, got to keep going, 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 and you're just not giving yourself some grace because it's not the same. Our productivity doesn't look the same. Most of my clients say it's more tiring to be on so many video calls. Zoom fatigue is real. I know we're on Teams, but they still call it Zoom fatigue than the typical work in the office, and it's definitely more distracting. So let's kick off with physical wellness because if you have to prime your state that you're in, I would start with the physical, maybe because it's more tangible than the emotional. So physical wellness, maintain as much of a routine or consistent schedule as possible. I try to still get up at the same time that I always get up. Maybe I don't put on the work outfit, a little bit more t-shirt and shorts this summer, but some people still put on their work clothes because it's like they got to get in that frame of mind. But having that consistent schedule is huge, and get enough sleep. They say, they people say that you need at least 8 hours of sleep when you're on all these video calls and working at home. Even if you got by with 6 or 7 hours before, you need the solid 8, and some of us need 9, because adequate rest allows you to regain perspective. Adequate rest allows you to regain perspective. And what I know about folks on the border of burnout is they lose perspective. They start freaking out about stuff that is like making mountains out of molehills. They start spiraling in their thoughts downhill. Maybe conspiracy theories even come up in their mind, or they start getting paranoid about stuff they usually don't because they're on the verge of burnout. So get sleep. That's your core habit. The second one is to maintain or establish new healthy eating habits. And I know you might roll your eyes on this one. Some people might, but you are what you eat. And so some days, I'm French fries and I don't feel great about that. Other days I'm a salad and I might feel a little bit better about myself on that. It could be just a simple habit like having protein snacks nearby your workspace instead of a bag of chips or something that just isn't as healthy. Maybe it's having smaller portion sizes of the meals you do eat. Maybe it's cutting down on your sugar, but just have a baby goal in this area of healthy eating habits. because it's going to affect your energy. A third one is making time for physical activity every day. Physical activity every day, preferably outside when the weather is nice. We're recording this on a smoky day, so the air quality isn't fantastic. We've also had some 100-degree weather this summer, and we've had windy weather back in the spring. And so there were days where we couldn't get out, but if you can get out, that's great. One of my clients does a midday run every day, and that energizes the second half of his day by getting that adrenaline going. Your dog, of course, is loving it if you have a dog, because it's like, oh, we get to go on a walk again. That's awesome, right? You know, you get endorphins when you exercise. And I love this quote by Dudley White. He said, a vigorous 5-mile walk will do more good for an unhappy but otherwise healthy adult than all the medicine and psychology in the world. So sometimes it's just getting moving. And if we get the sunshine as well, we get serotonin from the sun, and that's like a free mood enhancer, right? So we get endorphins and serotonin. It's pretty good. I've had to mix it up myself because I miss the gym a lot. Maybe you do too, because the gym, again, was that escape place where we can just get in our own head and burn off some calories. I use it for professional development with podcasts in my ear as well, and we don't have that. So you might have to mix it up with bike riding or swimming or hiking Badger or Candy Mountain, or just doing something a little bit different to mix up your routine. When you're stuck indoors, you might have to do stretching or yoga or deep breathing, because if we just keep going one video call to the next or one task to the next, it just becomes drudgery. So at least once an hour, and I didn't do it last hour, so shame on me, but getting up and stretching is at least a minimum thing. I've got it on the screen there, and I can send you this PowerPoint, but the standupstore.com that makes the standing desk, they've got best office exercises, but you can, of course, Google these and just do a few exercises in between your tasks or video calls to keep yourself fresh throughout the day. I've also found some websites for YouTube videos, fitness videos, and the Body Project is the one that I think it's bodyproject.com or teambodyproject.com is the one I use. It's these Australians, and I love their accents, so I can't keep up with them, but hey, at least it keeps me going while I'm at home. There's a website that even tells you 100 things you can clean in your house. Okay, again, maybe that's like too much information. You don't want to know that. Others of you might be a little OCD and you're like, challenge accepted, right? I'm going to be on that. Okay, then you can do something you enjoy every day. I think this is critical that we have something to look forward to every day during teleworking. So if you have a hobby, to just light it up. If you might even need a new hobby. I've got on the screen there a website called Not So Boring Life. And there's a list of hobbies there that you'll probably chuckle at. Some are like, that's a hobby? Yeah, well, pretty much anything could be a hobby. But if you're really struggling for a hobby this fall or this winter, you may want to go to this site. I'm going to pick up, I think, sketching, because I don't have any winter hobbies. And so that might be one that you might consider. One thing you could do is when you have a birthday, I turned 50 last year. And so I was sort of bummed because it's a birthday with a 0 at the end, right? Those are like the whoa kind of ones. Somebody told me to make a list of 50 things that I enjoy on my 50th birthday. So I said, I'm going to do that. And it was really fun. Now the list is more than 50. And I use it as sort of a menu to pick those things off of and to put into my schedule so that I don't have that drudgery. Let me give you another activity that you could do. Let me reshare my screen with something else here. This is an activity I give all of my clients to do. No, I don't know if it worked. Let's see. Can you see the fills and drains on the screen?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. Yes.
So fills and drains, so it's just a column. You do this on napkin if you wanted, but it's 2 columns. On the left is things that fill your emotional tank and make you smile, make it a good day. The things on the right are things that drain your emotional tank, that sort of spoil the day, that suck the life out of you. You see at the top, it's the things at work that fill and drain. So what are those tasks that you look forward to when you see them on your schedule for today? Or maybe it's people you get to run into, even if it's virtually. Then the things that drain your tank maybe are people who are arrogant or know-it-alls, or when you have to do some kind of paperwork or report, or maybe some of you don't like talking on the phone. You put as many, try to get 5 or 6 things in those category. But the lower left is the one that I'm talking about now, and that's the things that fill your emotional tank. If you can fill that box with as many things as possible, you, like me, could use it as a menu to pick off of some things to really brighten your day, to make sure they're scattered throughout your week, and things to look forward to. So that's just an activity that I would encourage you to do, is the fills and drains activity. And of course, I could send you that link if you would enjoy that. All right. What else on this one? Our gardens and lawns, probably the best this year than ever before. And then I just find that when one thing is humming in your life, it just sort of shines over into the other areas. So very quickly, let's go over to the chat area again. I would love for you all to post what you're doing for physical wellness. What are you doing for physical wellness? You could put a few things there. We've talked about healthy eating, the things you're doing to move, whether that's indoors or outdoors. Maybe it's things that give you joy with your hobbies. Let's find out what you put for this one.
Okay, so I have Jessica. Wow, she does a daily 1-mile walk at lunch, and she uses a stand-up desk. I put taking breaks with my daughter and going on bike rides in the evening. Presley says drinking lots of water. Yes, that's always something that I'm always trying to do myself. Does anybody else want to share? Katie has walking the pup more often. She has a great dog. Katie has a great, great dog.
These are good. These are good. Yeah, we'll come back to that water one in a few minutes, but hopefully you've got a few things that you can say that you do, and maybe you can add to the list now, hearing your colleagues and what they do.
And I have Anna Maria also put in that she and her husband walk every night because they do not get enough steps at home, and drinking enough water.
Yes, yes. Steps are a way to make that goal measurable. I like it. Okay, let's go to emotional wellness, because there comes a point where you cannot give any longer without taking in. Your cup has to be full in order to pour it out at work or to your personal relationships. So let's move on to emotional wellness, and I want to lead this one with gratitude. Gratitude. So there's a book that's actually entitled Good Days Start with Gratitude. I love that title. And I try to do this by journaling in the morning. Oprah made famous the gratitude journal many years ago. And so we're actually writing down things you're grateful for from the day before. And then at the end of the day, I try to go to sleep thinking about what I'm grateful for from that day. Usually it helps me fall asleep and I don't even finish the list. So maybe you don't struggle with falling asleep, but this might be a way to do that in a positive way. Gratitude leads to optimism and joy. And even though we've had a lot of losses this year, like the gym, like vacations that we weren't allowed to go in, relish what you do have rather than resent what you don't have. Relish what you do have rather than resent what you're missing right now in your life. Maybe you haven't had to get gas in your car quite as often. Maybe you're spending less money on coffee because it's not as convenient to go get it. Maybe you're more available to your family than you ever have before, right? There's lots of things on the gratitude list, and maybe it is just simply your health, that you haven't been one of the ones that have gotten COVID, or maybe it hasn't been affected in a negative way around you. Next one is to promote laughter. Promote laughter. This is where you add humor to every phone call, every social media post, every text message. Well, maybe not everyone, but you know what I mean, like trying to get the humor out there to make people laugh. I think we need it more than ever right now. Amusement is important when fear runs rampant. Use laughter to rev up your go system. It's a powerful way to convert strong negative emotions into positive emotions. Here, I'll start you with a few puns this time. Maybe you don't like these, but I've got the solo pulpit right now here. So, right. So, did you hear that they won't be making yardsticks any longer? Okay, that wasn't very funny. How about I'm reading a book about anti-gravity right now. I can't put it down. Okay, let's see. A man tried to assault me with milk, cream, and butter. How dare he? All right, and one more if you have kids, you might like this one. Police were called to the daycare center. A 3-year-old was resisting arrest. Okay, you don't like those. So instead, I will give you some real comedians. So this is a video called a video conference call in real life. So they have thought about all the things that go wrong on a video conference call, and they poke fun at it. So enjoy this one. You can probably relate to some of these. And this is our little humor break for right now. If I can figure out how to get to the screen to make it go. Let's see. It's on your screen, right? But now I don't know how to start it because I can't see it.
You just had it on our screen and then you flip back to yourself.
Okay. All right. When I open the tray, I just can't see it when I open the tray. So I can put it there, but then I can't hit the play button. I just can't see it on my screen. What can I do? I can't hear you, Aaron, if you're talking to me. Let's see. Well,
Going
right.
to see if I could pull up. Hold on really quick.
Oh yeah, I could probably send you the URL, huh?
Well, I just Googled it, so let me see if I can do it. So give me just a second,
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, Trip and Tyler are the guys. A video conference call in real life.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Can you restart it? I can't hear it though. Can you restart it?
Yeah. Let's do it again. Hold on. Sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me okay? You ready? Can you hear it?
I think it paused. Is it running for you?
It is. Can you guys, I know Jessica said she could hear it. I feel this is like our own reality video.
And the underwear photo to end. Thanks, Erin, for sharing that.
Okay. I think it's back to you, Paul. Are you good?
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully you've seen some of those foibles, but those guys are pretty funny. I really enjoy that. But like the key there is, of course, talking about laughter. And so optimism is a force multiplier, says Colin Powell, and I really believe that. A couple other things for emotional wellness, there we are, is energizing and relaxing music. Some of us need energizing music because it sort of gets us going. Others need that chill music in the background. There's two websites there I'll put on the screen. They cost money, but they actually match your productivity rhythm to a certain kind of music. Isn't that fascinating? Must be some kind of AI going at work there. But of course, you can just you can have even your Alexa, give you. Oops, she just came on. My Alexa came on, and just give you like some beach sounds or some forest sounds. Or you can go to a website called asoftmurmur.com, and you can actually program your own thunderstorm. And you can turn up the waves or the rain or the thunder in it. It's pretty cool. But just sometimes we need that pleasurable flood of dopamine, which lowers your stress. Next one is to journal. Start a journal. Maybe you've been a journaler in the past and you need to re-up your journal. This is the land of protest right now, but sometimes a journal is your place to protest that nobody else has to get involved with, right? It's just your place to get your feelings onto paper. And then you're like, okay, I did a brain dump and now I can engage with the world in a positive way. If you're a more structured person like I am, you might want to do the highs and lows of yesterday, what you're looking forward to today, maybe the most important thing on your schedule for today, and something that you've learned in the last 24 hours from a person or a website or a podcast. That's the way I make a journal a little bit more structured and do a chronology of my life. And then praying and meditating, whatever this is for you, it's just some solitude without your family. It's just your me time. We all need more me time. And it's that time to sort of look out the window in your life, which could be literally looking out the window, but it's time to focus your thoughts. It helps you get your thoughts in the right place and focus on what is within your control and what's not within your control right now. And to sort of sum up these first 2 points, there's a leader named Brendan Burchard. He's very motivational, and he said, take your meds. Meds stands for meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. If you take your meds every day, you're probably going to be healthy. Your meditation, exercise, your diet, and sleep, you get those lined up, you're probably going to do well. Okay, let's go to the chat area again. And if you would post what you're doing for emotional wellness. We talked about gratitude and humor and music and journaling and me time. What are you doing for emotional wellness?
Well, I put down that I do journal every day, and then my daughter and I every night, kind of like what you were saying with the gratitude. We write little notes that we don't share with each other, but we put them in a little box, our gratitude box of things that were positive or that we were thankful for the day or something that made us happy. Jessica put prayer, reading, and my daily walks. Presley says, I was reading every night before bed when we first started working from home and need to get back to that. Yes.
These are great ideas. Way to go. All right, let's go on to relational wellness. But before we go there, one last quote on this emotional wellness. Your daily mood creates the weather for your life. Your daily mood creates the weather for your life and the life of those around you. So that's why it's so critical to take your emotional wellness seriously. Let's go to relational wellness. It's not really social distancing, even though we call it that. It's really, we're in this land of physical distancing right now. So we do need to increase our communication, not back away from it. And yes, you introverts too. Okay, I'm like a 60-40 introvert, but introverts have the motto of love me and leave me alone, right? So if you're an introvert, you think that's funny, right? So sometimes even as introverts, we have to call or text our extended family a little bit more, or friends we've lost touch with, or those in our community or church groups that we used to hang out with. Even if it's just one person a day to send a 10-second text to, that might be a good baby goal to have in this area. I know there's probably more video meetings than you're ever used to, but when it's isolated, it's a good thing. Especially try to get those enthusiastic people into your day, because the funny people, enthusiastic people, we all have friends like this. It's good to hang out with them because they just brighten our day and they sort of add like hot coals to the fire, you know, for us when we feel like everything's getting dull. You could write letters of appreciation to people. Yes, literally writing letters. I know that sounds like a lost art nowadays, but I do have one leader who bought some funny, encouraging postcards on Amazon, and he's trying to put one in the mailbox every day to one of his team members. And so the mailbox is still a place we go every day while teleworking. And what a neat thing to get something in the mail that says, you know, thinking of you, hope you're doing well, and maybe it gives them a little humor. Everyone you encounter today is encouragement deprived. I had a speaker say that once, and I'll never forget it. Everyone you encounter today is encouragement deprived. No one has said like, well, Paul, that's enough compliments for today, right? You know, I've sort of tapped out on all those good words that you're sharing, right? Nobody says that. It's funny to even think that. So you can be more of a thermostat than a thermometer when it comes to encouragement. A thermostat, of course, sets the temperature, where a thermometer just records it. So be more of a thermostat when it comes to encouragement, and you can actually help the culture of your organization. You could do a virtual potluck or a virtual happy hour. Some companies have done that. Others have said like, no, too many video calls as it is. I get it. But I'm just giving you some ideas here. Find a way to lend a hand to someone, because when you give to other people, it just makes you feel great. So maybe that's finding people some work to do by delegating more. Maybe it's literally dropping something off at someone's doorstep, or directing them to a helpful resource because you know they need some help in this area. Maybe it's donating to charities, because fundraisers have all gone online now, and there's a lot of great organizations that still need to keep going to help those in need in our community. And maybe it's texting your neighbor who might be stuck in their house and they can't get out, you know, but getting into their home through a text message will cheer them up. Maybe it's paying for someone in the drive-through line behind you at the coffee shop. There's just little things you can do. Giving promotes forward movement on a team, and most people get energized when they feel like they're making an impact. And if you're like, Paul, I don't know if I can do any of those things, you know, there's still just being there for people. Being an empathetic ear when they just need to vent might just be enough for someone to make their day. And then I threw on the screen there, love your family, because they're the ones that are around you all the time now. Love them in the way they most appreciate. I don't know if you've ever taken the 5 love languages quiz before. I put that on the screen, 5lovelanguages.com. You could take the free survey, give it to the people around you that you love. They even have the 5 love languages of teens, the 5 love languages of children. They'll probably make the 5 love languages of electricians someday. No, I'm just kidding. But you know how they did the chicken soup for all the different, you know, professions. They know how to make money. But you do this for yourself, do this for those that you love closest to you, and tell each other what fills your tank. Is it quality time? Is it words of affirmation? Is it acts of service? Is it receiving gifts, or is it physical touch? And when you know this about the people that you love the most, then you can give it freely, and it fills their emotional love tank, as it's called. And then hopefully they'll want to do the same for you. And that's a really great circle in your family. Of course, with your kids, you probably have to come up with lots of ways to have fun, whether that's making a fort or sidewalk chalk or forced family fun if you have teenagers. But the point here is, don't give your leftovers to your loved ones. Have the hard stop in your day so that you give them the attention and energy, so that you're not just giving them those leftovers. Even if it's just, as one client says, recreational scheming. Like, when is the next trip that we can take? And just having a planning time really gets you excited about what that next trip could be. And by the way, an email or video or in the grocery store or with your family, just be polite, be respectful, just be nice, right? As the longer this goes on, I think the harder hit to our mental health. So if we in the Tri-Cities especially can be nice to one another, we can get through this together. Okay, let's post in the chat area again, if you would, please. What are you doing for relational wellness? So we've talked about communication and appreciation, or helping others, or loving your family. What are you doing in these areas?
Okay, we'll give everybody a couple of minutes. I am old school and I do still send cards and letters, so I try to
Nice.
do that regularly. And my daughter sometimes will draw pictures and we'll send pictures to friends and family just to say we're thinking of you.
Love it.
Anna Maria said spending times on walks with my husband and also being there this spring as my daughter mourn the loss of her high school senior year. Yeah, that was
yeah.
a tough year for kids.
I hear you. My daughter had that too. I had two 2020 graduates, one for college, one from high school, and they got ripped off.
They did. They did. It was, yeah, a tough year. Jessica said sending memes and gifts to friends and family. I will say that Jessica is very good at sending some good gifts because I have received them on Teams Messenger. So she's good at that. Presley wrote, eating together every night, making sure to go see my parents often. That's perfect. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. Good ones. Good ones. One more category here, mental wellness.
I have one more. Anna Marie also said spending time social distancing outside with our next door neighbors.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, the weather is nice. We got to take advantage of it because the fall is coming.
And Katie did say visit grandparents more often.
Okay, yeah. It can be lonely, and we can do something about it. Love it. One more category here is mental wellness, and that is you can, during this teleworking time, really expand your learning. Some people have decided to go back to school virtually or have decided to read technically or get to know some area of the business more. There's, of course, podcasts to listen to and audiobooks. You can get the Libby app, from the library and get free audiobooks to listen to. You can go deeper into a software program and learn some of the tips and tricks in there. And just by asking each other, what are you learning or how are you growing during teleworking might just raise the water level of everyone. So when we return to the office, whenever that day will happen, we'll actually be stronger with a stronger skill set. Of course, there's always puzzles and I like wordscapes on my phone and just little ways to keep our brain challenged. You could check in with a mentor. Maybe you've had one in the past and it's time to check in. Mentors are great because they ask you tough questions and they just seem to seep out wisdom to us whenever we hang out with them. So maybe it's a chance to reach out for mentorship. And then you can take on a new challenge, right? To get out of ruts, we could take on a new challenge. One of my clients is doing like a Boy Scout for adults thing. It's like called A Strenuous Life, and he has challenges and he can win little merit badges for it. And it just keeps him like, oh, there's a new thing to try today. And if you like your routines, this might be a way to bust out of that and say, I'm going to try something new. And maybe that will challenge you in your mental wellness. Okay, I'm going to press on. I'm not going to have us post on this one. I'm going to press on because I want to give you some tips on productivity and work relationships in our last time together. I'm going to move through your workspace and video calls to get to this main point here, which is structuring your day at home. Maybe you're doing this stuff already. I did some YouTube videos on time management when no one is watching because these are like 12 principles of effective time management. I just want to give you a few here today. One is to make sure you set goals for every day. Because if you don't, without a plan, you're just simply reacting to circumstances. And since we have more distractions, they call them WMDs, but it's a different kind. It's weapons of mass distraction instead of destruction. But those distractions could become destruction if we just keep squirreling away to them. So I would encourage you to do a daily preview at the end of every workday. Use this as part of your hard stop in your day. Take the last 15 minutes to 30 minutes of your day and refresh your to-do list and make a plan for tomorrow. At least your top 3 priorities for tomorrow, because then it'll allow you to shut your light off and go, all right, I've got a plan for tomorrow and I can end today. And you see on the screen there a Carol Halsey quote that if you just take 10% of your time to plan in advance, it's going to save you 90% of that effort of completing those most important tasks. It's just amazing. It's like for every minute of planning, you save 10 minutes. So if you're a planner, you totally get this already, but set some goals. The second one is to, I call it Eat That Frog. This is an actual book by Brian Tracy, which just means you want to get the most difficult task done first, as early in the day as possible. Knock down the lead domino, and then those other tasks are going to go a lot faster. If you procrastinate, though, that just fuels anxiety, like, yeah, I still got to get that done. Yeah, I still got to get that done. And then at the end of the day, you're like, well, now it's too late. I'm just going to bump it into tomorrow. And then you feel like a failure. So the earlier, the better you can get your most important task done. It's going to be great. If you get distracted, write down where you're at, get back to that as soon as you can. Also, manage your energy. So if you are a morning person, get those tasks done in the morning. If you're an afternoon person, put those most critical creative tasks in your afternoon, wherever that is. Just know that focus is your superpower. Consider the Pomodoro pace. This is like a little tomato timer that they've done research to say if you work for 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break. You work for 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds of these POMs, they call it, then you take a longer break and go for a walk or you eat lunch. You take a longer break at that, and it just sort of keeps your day going with these little breaks throughout it. I coach like 50 leaders. None of them do a great job of taking breaks. I can't think of one of them. They all know they need to do a better job of taking breaks to stay fresh throughout their day. So if we do, we're going to come back to our task fresher than if we just decide, no, we're going to bang it out for another hour. No, it would be better to stop for a bit and then come back to it. Stay accountable to someone, whether that's your team leader, manager, or to a colleague or a success partner in your life. Some people are choosing at the beginning of the day to have a quick little video call or phone call to say, these are my big 3 priorities. What are yours? And then at the end of the day, they send an email of what they got done. That may sound a little micromanagey to you, but somehow we need accountability. I find that your chance of success skyrockets when you share your goals with other people. Your chance of success skyrockets when you share your goals with other people. And then you get to celebrate with them when you get it done. Block your distractions. You've probably figured this out in 6 months now, but sometimes we're our own worst enemy with this. Maybe it's not even our family anymore, or our pets, but it's us. You can go to a website called getcoldturkey.com, and you can literally shut off some of those websites and apps that you squirrel to throughout the day for a period of time. So you might want to do something like that. Most people fail because their focus gets broken. And so we have to stay on task and finish one job before we start another. And then finally, you've probably figured this out, but set availability boundaries with your family members. Of course, they're still getting used to you being there all the time, and they're cooped up as well. So you may want to have some door rules and put a sign on your door when you're available and when you're not, or adjust your work hours appropriately so you can give them primo attention and yet still you get your job done. Okay, let's find out in the chat area, what are you doing to stay productive at home? What are some of the habits that you use to stay on track?
So Presley put to-do list, as did Katie, as lists, which are, yes, very, very helpful. I put get up early to tackle work and big projects, like you were saying, kind of eat that frog before my daughter gets up and having to help her with school.
Love that.
Anna Maria has closed my office door. However, I have a teenager, so I don't see her quite often until noon.
Yes, you list people a virtual group hug right now. Love those lists.
I think that might be it. Yes, maybe I'll
Okay.
let you know if someone else pops in.
Yeah, very cool. So let's pull this together. I like to call it the so what or now what time of our meeting. So we've gone through talking about physical wellness. We've talked about emotional wellness. We've talked about relational wellness and even mental wellness to challenge your brain. And then we spent a little bit of time here of structuring your day and managing your time when you're at home. I would love to know what's going to stick with you. What 2 or 3 things, was it a quote that you enjoyed or something you'd like to try or remind yourself of, or maybe even share with somebody else, another colleague or a family member, as a result of our time together talking about thriving while teleworking? Would you go over to the chat area and post a couple of takeaways from today, and then I'll take any questions if you might have some questions.
Anna Maria put, it seems the biggest thing is making sure we take care of ourselves.
Amen.
Yes. I put that you really just kind of, which sometimes, you forget with all that's going on, that just the simple things that you have to kind of remember to keep in mind and keep in task, and remember what is really important in your day. And there's a lot to juggle, but that there are other things that really require focus and things that don't.
So good.
Katie says that she agrees with both. Posted.
Katie, no dittos allowed. Come on now.
Jessica wrote, giving grace both to yourself, your family, and your coworkers.
Oh,
Yes, that's
I
a
love
great
that
one.
phrase. Giving grace. We need a whole lot more of that in our world right now.
Don't we? Yes, I know. I always try to tell my daughter to be kind first and foremost. Getting the big projects done first. I like to procrastinate on those. LOL, Presley.
So good. Any other comments or questions or other tips for your colleagues here in any of these areas?
I would just like to say, I think, kind of going back to some earlier comments about things that have not been happening, maybe a little bit of lack of communication. I think sometimes we do get a bit disconnected, and I know we have implemented weekly meetings, but even still, communication can be stunted. So I think a takeaway from this, and something that maybe Katie and Presley and I can work on, is trying to foster that more transparent or frequent communication without it being mind numbing too, because I know we have so many different mediums that we can relate to one another, but trying to be a little bit more clearer and a little bit more consistent with folks. Definitely. I think that was some good feedback for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'll close by saying make a little progress every day, right? I gave you a boatload of ideas today. You can't do it all at the same time, but just make a little progress every day. Once you master and turn something into a habit, then you can move on to something else and turn that into a habit. And over time, you're a whole person again. all those areas that were below the line now come up to the line, and you feel pretty healthy. And then you're able to give to your family and to work the necessary energy. So we are what we repeatedly do. The secret to your success is what you do daily, not what you do once in a while. It's what you do daily. So I'm a big Lucas fan, and thanks for all you do at the company and all the support that you give to each other. Keep up the good work as you head into the fall, and everyone keep growing forward.
And Paul, I just want to thank you because I know you always have a busy schedule, but always thank you for being so accommodating for Lucas. And I think what today was just a nice insight, again, a reminder of what is important and things that we do need to kind of pay attention, especially to ourselves. So I think this was very, very valuable. And I just want to thank you so much. And I know the rest of the people that were here today just value your insight and just your positivity. You're always such a great positive force of energy. And I just love that. And I think we sometimes just need that little spark of fire, right, in our days. So
My pleasure.
And thank you for
you,
everybody that attended too today. And we'll have some more sessions. And if there's things that you would like us to see present on a Friday, let me know. I will certainly bring that up and try to find speakers, or if you want to speak on something, let me know. And again, I will have this recording available for you, Paul, afterwards, as well as our Lucas folks. And Anna Maria, gift card will go in the mail this weekend to you. Okay, I think that's it. Everybody have a great weekend. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And
Stay
Thank
safe
you.
out there, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, Aaron.